It is time to go. Welcome to day one. This module is going to help you to not only know you have to take a lot of action to go quick, but it's going to help direct that action in the right direction. I want to talk about something. As we're talking about action, action is more important than you could possibly understand at this point. Alex Hormozi talks about a study where they took a pottery class and they gave some of the students the task of taking the entirety of the year and producing the best pot they possibly could. Then they took some of the other students and said, you to have the entirety of the year to make as many pots as possible. At the end of the year, everyone brought their pots to class and they tallied up the results for who had the best pot and who had the most pots. And funnily enough, the best pots were made by the students with the most pots. Now that was quite an interesting thought. The ones who did the most made the best, and they made multiple of the best pots. How? Well, the way that we are as humans, we experience and learn by experiencing and then learning. And that might sound very simple, and in a way it is, but if it's simple, then maybe it's so simple that we forget it every day. And so I want to push you. Andrew Tate says it this way. If you're a rocket, you take off. It doesn't pause on its way out of the atmosphere, right? It keeps going, and it, in fact, keeps accelerating. It never slows down, let alone stops. Another quote of Andrew Tate's, I'm spitting it all right now, raw action negates luck. That's the best way that I can put it for you. If you just take action, especially following this roadmap, you will make it. Just how it works. You'll make it at some point, somehow, some way, you'll make sure of it. But if you sit there and you're trying to figure it all out, it'll be a lot harder. I have a buddy. The last story I'll share before we get into this, I'm trying to really drill this in, the importance of this. And I explained it to him this way. I said, I'm like a sniper. I'll sit up on the roof and I'll measure the wind. I'll learn all the variables. I'll learn the distance and I'll learn the subject's habits. And I'm going to figure out exactly the perfect shot. And then I come in, I look through the scope. I take a breath. And right as I'm about to shoot, I'm talking to my buddy when I say this. I'm like, you bust on the scene with a machine gun. And yeah, you miss hundreds of shots, but boom, subject is dead and you move on. Now, in this example, this, subject being dead is the goal. He is just always doing, yep, done. Now, maybe you waste a lot of energy, maybe you miss a bunch more shots that way, but I promise you, he makes the shots faster than 90% of people because he's like, oh, I missed it, okay, I got it, yep, real world feedback, real time updating my processes, getting better, boom, done, move on. There wasn't time for over-analysis, over-learning, fear, complacency, any of that. You break the mold, okay? Learn from him, be like him. I'm trying to do that every day. And definitely come into day one with that focus. Okay, speaking of day one, in day one, we're gonna be looking at market research, building an offer, basic Google My Business setup. You only need a basic setup for now. We're gonna help get you your first jobs and your first reviews on Google My Business. I'm gonna teach you a process that I've built over the last half decade for a to-do list structure that helps you to manage a lot of to-dos efficiently in different areas of life. And part of how it does that is it's simple enough that it doesn't take a ton of maintenance to maintain, but it's complex and organized enough that you're able to figure out what you need to do next. And those are two very contradictory yet important aspects for a to-do list system. And it's taken me quite a while to arrive here. This is what I actually use to manage everything in my life today. Then I'm going to talk about a few scheduling best practices and tips. These are some tips and tricks I learned through experience that I will never be the same in my scheduling and will save you a ton of time and frustration. And then finally, we're going to talk through insurance. When I started, had someone who didn't know what they were talking about, and they told me they didn't know what they were talking about, but they were voicing concerns about my ability to get insurance as a minor, my ability to get insurance for the service I was in at all, what that would look like, how much it would cost, everything. And they had good reason to be concerned. I don't have to delve into it all, but they did have good reason to be concerned. But that alone was enough to cause me to be afraid and procrastinate getting insurance for a long time. And I risked it. I did some jobs without insurance. Fast forward to today, I have yet to work with a single detailer that hasn't broken something in someone's car at some point. My point in sharing that is to say that crap happens and insurance is important. And once I took the leap, all it took was a quick phone call. I had insurance in about 10 minutes and it cost me $37 a month. There is no reason to not have insurance, so we'll delve into that. All right, there's your overview. Let's get into it. I will see you in market research. Let's go.